unload the server. Just alt-tabbed over, killed the stream, restarted the stream. I don't remember what I was talking about. I know I said something about it being lucky that I found a gear. So this is an odd glitch. You can run through the ocean. I don't know what causes that, but I can't run through that ocean. You know? It's just weird. For some reason, deserts spawn that way. I don't know if it has to do with one of my mods. Ah, here we go. Dragonfly. So you don't want to fuck with the dragonfly at all. She hurts and things, but she doesn't chase you that far. The magma pits can be useful for warming up in winter and things like that. But if you're close enough to keep the darkness monster from attacking you on them, then you're close enough to start taking fire damage. Oh yeah, this is a really good base location. Okay. Uh-huh. The wormhole layout for this map is just amazing. Okay, I should not have went through that yet. I'm actually insane enough now that I can be attacked by shadow monsters. Alright, cool. So let's cook this cactus and eat it. And then cook these green caps and eat them. For those of you who are interested in that style of gameplay, I will eventually be going permanently crazy, but I want to get established a little bit first. All right. So we're probably going to build our base somewhere right in this general vicinity. Close enough to all of the features of the desert that we can use them appropriately, but far enough away from the dragonfly and the mag tusks that we're not going to get murdered. Probably somewhere in this area, actually, where all these cacti are. Gold rocks, hound mounds. Nope. Even better. Yeah, let's just, I gotta be far enough away from the Mactusks to make sure they don't randomly wander over into my base. So probably on this side of the cacti, like right here. This should work. So, fire pit, science machine, and with a science machine, Wickerbottom can create the alchemy engine tier recipes, so I can start making gold stuff now. And I gotta say, gold pickaxes are so much of an improvement over regular pickaxes, it's actually ridiculous. Just gonna drop off some of the stuff I don't need right now. Clear out some backpack space so I can go collect other things. Alright, and that'll do for now. I'm going to eat these meat before they get any more spoiled, because once they get down to yellow tier, it's extremely bad for Wickfrid to try to eat them. Or not Wickfrid, Wickerbottom. Just gonna do a little resource gathering. You can never have enough gold, and I mean that literally. But I can get gold back pretty easily right now if I head back to the Big King with all the trinket things I've collected out of... Excuse me. Out of, tumbleweeds. Which I think I'm actually going to go do. Simply because I really want to go back and collect all that charcoal I burnt down earlier. I'll need it to build crock pots and things. So we're going to pop back through this wormhole and, again, rip our sanity. But yeah, one of the reasons I like this map layout, this is really good, because everything's fairly close to wormholes. And so I can zip around the map fairly quickly. You know, it'll cost me sanity to do it that way, but I also don't care, like, at all. It's not that big a deal. And as I've, you know, mentioned a couple of times, being insane has its benefits. It's not even one of those things like there's a time and a place. No, like, the only benefit to not being crazy is if you're unskilled at dodging the easiest creatures to kite in the game, second easiest creatures to kite in the game, and you don't want to have to deal with their shit. Shadow creatures are super easy to fight. And you may have saw that tree dropped a chunk of charcoal. If you just leave them alone, burnt trees will generate charcoal over time. So it's actually more efficient to not chop them down and just come through and harvest whatever's laying on the ground. But ain't nobody got time for that shit. This is, I need charcoal now, so I'm getting charcoal now, sort of thing. The other thing we need is more wood and more rock. Resources that you literally can never get enough of. I also need to build some shovels, which I should have done a long time ago. I'm just not used to playing Wicker Bottom. And get some shovels and start digging up things. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this works. Take one charcoal, put it here, and I think it'll show up on the map now? No. Alright, I'll have to do this way then. Refine a board. Build a sign. I just want to mark somehow that there's a suspicious Margle Rook here. Yeah. So that when I start looking for them, I can come back and find them pretty easy. It's not a really great use of resources to do that, but at the same time, not being able to find suspicious marbles when you're trying to round them up is very frustrating. Suspicious marbles are used with certain statues later on in the game to create a set piece that creates clockwork monsters. It leads to some very difficult, challenging fights. Arguably some of the hardest fights in the game. Oh, good, let's go get those blue caps now. It's actually just super efficient to harvest mushrooms all the time. Especially in the spring, because they regrow every time it rains. So I can grab all these blue caps tonight when it gets dark. Oh, yeah, it's about to be dark right now. Yeah, and next time it rains, they'll regrow in, which is super fast in spring when it rains almost constantly. Finding a ring of blue caps would be pretty much the best thing. With a decent sized stack of pig skins and a science machine built back at my base, I'm ready to start fighting things. I can build football helmets now. Once I learn the recipe once, then I'll have it forever. And getting... I should have built a gold axe while I was in base. Oh well, I'll just build another science machine. They're super cheap, so... I still got some meat left. Ooh. Apparently, the pigs had a fight. Hey you, come with me. Tiki Torch pigs will fight frickin' anything. They do not care at all. Cooked frog legs. Grab that extra axe. It's actually amazing that all those pig houses are still standing. So I'm chopping down pine trees specifically because I want to get pine cones. To plant. You can also plant birch nuts, but I prefer to eat birch nuts, at least early game. I don't know, I'm probably going to plant these. I'm not really hurting for food. I know it doesn't seem like I have much, but I have the availability of a lot of food. I've not really been trying to collect food, and I'm doing fine. Come on, assholes, chop. A fun mod if you're playing on base Don't Starve is mining pigs. It just makes it so that pigs also help you mine rocks. The same way they help you chop trees. It's pretty nice. What have I got time to get these guys over to a decent forest? Anyway, I want to get pine cones and stuff and plant near these guys' houses so that I don't have to run them all over the place to get wood. I can just go to them and drop some meat on them and then go chop things. I'm about to lose them for the day. Good enough. Alright, let's grab this wood. I'll probably chop a little more just to, you know, knock down all of this axe's durability, so it's not taking up space in my inventory anymore. One thing that gets super annoying later on is just how much flint you end up with. Huh. Okay then. You win this round, Tree. There we go. And let's go visit the Pig King. Drop off all this gold generation stuff I've got. Then we're gonna head back to our base and start building. So we had 15 gold before we dropped those off. And looks like 32 after. So I made more gold in 5 minutes. Hey, Solon, what's up? I made more gold in 5 minutes collecting tumbleweeds than I did in 2 days of mining. Just think about that. Playing some Don't Starve together tonight, man. Ah, thank you. I appreciate it. The goal, ideally, is eventually to get to where I have enough people watching me that I can get, you know, a sub button on Twitch and just quit my real job and do this all day, every day. We're a long way from that, however. I've got, what, 11 followers now, I think? Right. Absolutely insane. So this is a brand new server, man. It's like 7 days in. I have just barely got started. I died twice early because I'm a scrub. Cook the seeds. Alright, I want to start making sure I carry a weapon with me. Football helmet, and suddenly I'm good to fight. Fully geared out, feels good. Running around naked is pretty much the worst. Let's see, I need to know how to make axes, shovels. Can leave this here. Leave this here. Alright, we're good. So we're headed back out in the world now. We need to go start collecting berry bushes and grass and twigs to relocate to our new desert base. While continuing to reveal map areas. Hey, I got a present. New skin. Unfortunately, that requires me to make a trip back to a science machine somewhere, and I am not in the business of going backwards. We are moving forward. So since I'm wicker bottom and can easily rego plants, I don't really need a lot of plants. I'm going to want about 20 saplings, 20 grass tufts, and 20 berry bushes, and I'll be good to go. Now somewhere, someone has figured out mathematically the best layout that you can possibly build for efficiency. for these things. I don't know what that is, and I don't actually care. We're actually, I think we're going to do 18 and 18 and 18 because they're set with my cluster plant mod to go in groups of 9. Oh, Solon, by the way, for this server, with me playing by myself, I'm doing the videos in 1-hour chunks, and they will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. So if you want to see the first hour that you missed before you got on for the day, you can check my VODs here, or it'll end up over on my YouTube channel, both. So you can see how this base started, and you'll be able to see going forward as well. Oh, here's a fun set piece. So my additional set pieces mod I've been talking about sometimes spawns this. It is a trapped, could be trapped, could not be trapped chest. It's called a mimic trap. When I open it, it's trapped. So it has a weapon, an armor, a hammer, and then a treasure in it. The weapon in this case is a hand bat, which I don't actually care about because it's mostly grotted. The log suit is an armor this time. The hammer is to get me out of here, and the treasure is just something useful. Ooh, moonrock walls. This is going to be rough. So, to get out, I have to break a wall, but every time I hit a wall, it spawns monsters. Alright. Here we go. And so everything will just fight amongst itself, with me out here just creating more bullshit for my own personal amusement. This will end up being extremely profitable eventually. All of the clockwork monsters will work together, but nothing else this creates will. So we just want to carefully avoid the fight, create as many monsters as possible without taking any damage ourselves. And you'll notice I've not taken any damage yet. And let everything fight. Ooh, where's this mole at? The moles will eat the gears and rocks and stuff. Oh, tentacles. I don't know that I'll be able to smack the walls down the rest of the way. There we go. Oh, gotta be careful. Yeah, tentacle spam. Very dangerous. I need to eat. Good thing I got all these blue caps on. Rip my sanity. Alright, sort my inventory. Grab a weapon. Oh man, I am not really set to start dealing with this. Terror Beak. Alright, time for our first shadow monster while I'm crazy. Show you guys how easy this is. You move up to him, let him attack, hold down the F key. When he starts coming towards you, you duck out of the way, dodge his first hit. His attack range is super, super short. Dodge him when he does his little attack, and he's dead. Super, super easy. Shadow monsters are a joke. Watch for tentacles to start rising up, duck out of the way. Wait for it to fade back in. So this is what I was talking about in the first video, about how this mod, additional set pieces, is just kind of game-breakingly strong. This completely ruins the game balance right here. All of this, I should not have all of this. Like, straight up, this should not be a thing that happens. It's even better demonstration than I expected this to be because it was the highest strength of wall, so it generated the most monsters possible. I don't have any light, so I'm just going to have to duck around the edges of the pigs here until daybreak. Well, ideally that doesn't happen. This is not a situation you want to find yourself in. Fortunately, nights are really short right now. If it had been any later in the seasons, then I would have done a different strat for this right here instead of running around in a circle around pig torches. Stopped and made my own torch or something. Okay. One thing I got to be careful about is when I have day to night transitions, for some reason, my system lags out super hard. Alright. And we're good. Low on health, but otherwise good. Keeping an eye out for tentacles. Yeah, I knew there was some around there somewhere. I'd like to create some more freaking clockworks to deal with those guys. Okay. The rooks are the main things. They murder very efficiently. Got another shadow creature coming for me. Now these crawling horrors are not any worse than Terror Beak as far as... Actually, they're considerably easier, just because they have less HP and do less damage. But they kite the exact same way. You fuckers. Down here. Alright, I'm trying to kite the rest of the clockworks into the rest of the tentacles, which will get them off of me and onto the tentacles. No, I've not played any more FTL. I've not streamed today until I started DST. Alright, now I want to work on thinning out the herds of clockwork bishops. Because those are the actual dangerous things here. I don't want to fight that many of those. Like, somehow they need to die off. There we go. The clockwork rooks usually do a pretty good job of killing off the bishops by accident. Just by... terms of collateral damage. And that should pretty well have the tentacles dead as well. Leaving me to deal with 2 bishops and 1 rook, and one of the bishops is already low HP. Never mind. Just 1 rook. And he will do a pretty good job of running himself around stupid. Took, what, 2 days to clear this totally? Something like that. It should be noted that bishops don't actually do that much damage when they hit a player. They do a ton of damage to monsters, but not that much to people. Oh. And the pigs will deal with them. I don't have enough inventory slots to hold all of this. I don't need this hammer anymore. There. That should do it. So what, like 2 in-game days? Yeah. Completely worth it. Now, they might have missed a tentacle or 2 in here somewhere. I gotta be careful. Also need to keep an eye on my hunger. Plenty of weapons over here now. Those tentacle spikes will be useful for a long time to come. Ton of monster meat. I'll want to get those tentacle spots set up. I'm going to take those with me as well. I'll need those for making the book on tentacles that only Wigfrid can make. Yeah, I'm super happy with the way this turned out. And the moral of the story is, regardless of if you're playing with this mod or not, always make things fight other things for you. Don't fight things yourself. There's just no need. Tentacle spot. Tentacle spot. An entire stack of gears. But wait, there's more. What are these guys' HPs at? I might want to just freaking kill them. 75? Yeah, he'll die fast. Come here, asshole. What about this guy? 70? Same thing. Taking a bit more damage there than I really should. Alright, don't want to get caught out in the dark. There. Terror Beak. And I have very little HP, so I gotta be careful. Ah, you got me. I got stuck on the Tiki Torch Pig. Or not Tiki Torch Pig, but a Tiki Torch. Hopefully this lasts the rest of the night. Just in case. Be ready to create a torch. Okay. So I'm definitely a bit lower on health than I'm really comfortable with. I'm gonna have to think about how to deal with that as Wicker Bottom for a minute, with me being out of mushrooms. For one thing, I can just eat spider glands. That'll help some. We're gonna head back to our base camp after this. Wow, yeah, no, we're gonna head back to our base camp right now. Oh, we're not even that far. I was thinking I'd jump through a wormhole to get over here. So I think one of the things I want to do, like ASAP, is get a bird cage. And that way I can start making eggs, and that way I can start making pierogi. And I can use pierogi to heal up. First thing first, we need a crock pot. Hey, and I can open this finally. Something nice. Canadian boots. Oh man, I'm gonna have to give those to Skyrim Master. He'll love them. Alright, so... what do I need to make a crock pot? 3 cut stone. I actually want to make several of these. Two will be fine for now. Also need boards. And make a large ice box with all those gears I got. I've got a mod on that allows me to make larger ice boxes and larger chests. So if this looks odd once I get it open, that's why. So if you put the crock pots down first, you can put them much closer to the ice box than if you did it the other way around. There we go. Yeah, and that's what my icebox looks like on the inside. It's huge, but it's extremely expensive to make. Alright, we want to cook all this monster meat so it doesn't go bad. Alright, while I'm cooking all this, I can look at chat for a second. The reason the desert biome is a good place to camp in, and I explained this in the first video, but I'll do it again for your convenience. You cannot relocate cactuses. And you cannot cause tumbleweeds to generate outside of the Dragonfly Desert. And those are both really good resources. Tumbleweeds can contain almost anything in the game, but the most common thing that they drop is grass and twigs, and each one that you bust open has 3 items in it. So even just harvesting tumbleweeds for a few minutes, you can refill your grass and twig supply very easily. And they generate year-round, so you can get grass and twigs year-round quite easily. Whereas in the winter, normally you run into trouble. And cacti also grow year-round, which gives you a vegetable food source. Let's get that campfire back up going. And vegetables are extremely useful in certain recipes, namely pierogi, which I'll be making here shortly. Well, hopefully shortly. I've got to build a bird cage first. I think I've got the stuff to make a bird cage. Alright. One more. So the basic default recipe that you're going to use for almost every character for any reason is the hunger filling recipe efficiently. It is 1 of any meat and then 3 filler, as long as those filler do not contain more than one monster item. So monster meat here and 3 cooked birch nuts will make a meatball. Meatballs restore a small amount of sanity, like what? 5. A small amount of health. Was it any health at all? Yeah, 4 health, 5 sanity, and 60 hunger. They're really efficient. So you'll make a lot of those. It's just the basic crockpot recipe. Learn it, love it, use it. A lot of people who want the game to be more difficult than it already is talk about how crockpots need, or meatballs need a nerf because they're too good. They're not wrong. And we'll store those there for now. I'm cooking a couple extra meatballs to take with me. That way I've got a food supply on the run. Let's get this fire up nice and high. There we go. I just keep those with me. Alright, next thing I want to build is a large chest, so I need 8 boards. Anyway, so yeah, and then cacti grow year-round. And they're a good food source for using to make pierogi is the #1 thing. Do I have enough wood? Yeah, I got plenty of wood. We'll make a second one of these. So in general, it's just a good place, because pretty much anything else you can make, or anything else you need, you can relocate from another location. Berry bushes, twigs, grass, etc. Now, that said, this particular desert base wasn't picked just because it's in the desert. You don't ever really want to build a base just off that. No, instead, this was picked because it's actually really close to the center of a bunch of different things. I can go through 1 wormhole and get to 2 more wormholes and a pig king. It's really good. And one of those wormholes leads to a swamp, which is kind of the other thing that I would be looking for. Alright, chest organization. My leftmost chest I always stick building materials in. Like extra building materials I'm not carrying with me. Which I don't have much at the moment, do I? Cut reeds, charcoal. Hounds are coming. You'll start hearing them bay well before your character starts talking about hearing them. And the second chest, I'm going to put stuff that I get from killing monsters, like loot. So, time to learn how to survive a hound attack with next to no HP. Ropes. And the answer to that is you should have weapons and armor by day 6. Regardless of who you're playing as. I just randomly found the beefalo hat laying on the ground. Now, you don't necessarily have a tentacle spike. A tentacle spike will make this fight easier, but you can do it with even just a basic spear weapon. However, if you hang out in a swamp long enough, you'll find a tentacle spike. The merms and spiders there will start killing the tentacles. Here they come. So, kite, attack, kite, attack, kite. Come here, asshole. Easy. It gets more complicated when there's a larger number of hounds, but it's the same principle every time. Duck their attack, and then swoop in and hit them a time or 2. There. Alright. Is there anything else I want to drop off? Yeah, this massive stack of wood. I don't need that on my person. And we're good. Yeah. Alright, now, back to what we were doing. But yeah, aside from that, also basing fairly close to the Dragonfly. See, I just got a gear out of that tumbleweed, you know? And if you're not playing with a mod like I have where you can just generate gears out of nothing pretty much, then that's pretty useful. It's a random chance. It's like a 1% chance. But I mean, if you open enough tumbleweeds, you will get gears out of it, and you're gonna need gears. Even a small base needs to have 8 or 9 gears. Still need to figure out a way to recover my sanity. I was going to build a bird cage. Oh well, it'll be okay. I also need rabbits. I also need manure. Check. Okay, we're cool. This is why we came back up here. I didn't want to just leave my tools behind. I am carrying too many tentacle spikes. I'll come back for these when I need them finally. That'll clean up some inventory space. Full moon tonight. I should go get, what's his face? I cannot remember the little fuzzball's ugly name. Glommer. But with night being so short in the summer, I'm not gonna, or in the autumn, I'm not gonna bother with it. I'll grab him this winter when I'll have more time to run around. There we go. And that's some of the manure I'll need. So is this just a field of nothing but killer bees up here? Because that sucks. That's kind of the worst biome. It's just annoying to have to deal with. It's not actually dangerous. As long as you keep moving, you don't stop moving, then killer bees can't catch you. Freaking crab, man. You see, just go around them and don't stop moving. Eventually they'll de-aggro. Okay, so where does this connect to? Is this just the one that leads back to my base? I think it is. Okay, cool. Right, I'm digging. I need 9 more grass tufts and 4 more saplings. Now the temptation when you're first starting out is to pick more stuff, like dig up more stuff than you actually need. And don't get me wrong, you need a lot of grass. Like you can never have enough grass, but that's not the same as saying you can never have enough grass plants. As Wickerbottom, it's better to just plant a few plants and then make do with books and things than it is to constantly be generating plants, generating plants, generating plants. Need 1 more sapling, I need a bunch of berry bushes. Check saplings. Because for every grass tuft that you place and every berry bush that you place, you've also got to come up with manure to fertilize them. And you run the risk of them eventually getting diseased. And it's just a pain in the butt. that up, but that's okay. Okay, now this is interesting. This is a set piece that will never be trapped, but if I try to interact with any object, those firehounds will attack me. What you've got to do is kill the firehounds individually, and then you can interact with the base freely. But I'm not going to try to do that at night, and I'm not going to try to do it with 22 HP. I need spider silk. Time to learn to kite spiders. So it's pretty much the same as everything else. You're going to duck in and out of their aggro range. And you want to aggro one, and then while the other one is still recovering from his last attack, kill the one. There we go. And I am full inventory again. Oh, that was dumb of me. I forgot I was going to use those berries to make manure. Oh well. So the important thing here is you do not want to fight within range of the spider nest, and I'll show you why. Now all the spiders in the nest are after me, including 2 yellow warrior spiders that are extremely, extremely annoying. They have a super long range jump attack that's kind of hard to dodge. They have like 4 times the HP of a regular spider. They do more damage. They're just, in general, really annoying. And there's no need to fight them. All you have to do is stand there long enough to get aggro from the 2 spiders that come out of the tier 2 nest. Lure them away, and when they're about this far away, kill them. Repeat as needed. You also don't want to tear down nests, because you want to be able to grind spiders. When a nest gets to tier 3, that's when you tear it down. Always with the full inventory. Super annoying. Out of everything here, I could probably spare the purple gem the most. What's chat saying? If you like the spiders, if you think they're cute, and a lot of people will say the exact opposite of that, Skyrim Master's terrified of them, then you should play as Weber sometime. Weber is a spider person. His lore is actually that he is a human child that a spider tried to eat whole, but for some reason it couldn't digest him, and so now he is just a spider-human hybrid. And his deal is that spiders think he's their friend all the time. You know, they just love him. And he could feed them meat, and they'll follow him around like pigs follow around everybody else. Ugh. What do I want to drop? I guess the Hound's Teeth. And he can build spider nests as well. He can create the spider egg sacs that you use to make nests. And that's what I was about to say about tier 3 nests. When you tear down a tier 3 nest, then it drops a spider egg sac that you can plant somewhere else to make another spider nest at a location of your choosing. So when I start seeing tier 3s, I'll tear those down and do something with them. Okay, I've been looking for this for a little while. I'm not going to interact with it right now, but this is a set piece that I'll want to come back to later. I need rock anyway. That's something that would actually help quite a bit if I found Chester's eye bone. That's why I feel cramped for space, actually. I just realized it. I use Chester as a living toolbox. he carries all of my tools typically. So I've got a axe, shovel, and tentacle spike in my backpack right now that would normally be inside a chester. This is the Rocky Den. You can see it created a special crafting menu. If you come here, you can get a pet that will follow you around. It has no game mechanics purposes whatsoever. It just is cute and follows you around and yells at you to feed it because it's starving. Oh, here's a fun thing. Found a graveyard. Graveyards are an amazingly good resource. I just realized I don't have a torch and I don't have room in my inventory for a torch. Fun times. Alright, I've got some spoiled meat that's about to actually go bad, so we're going to make a fire tonight instead of a torch to keep moving. Why is there a sign over here? Oh, that's the sign I made earlier. So yeah, graveyards, resources. Not every graveyard has the rich graves mod that I from the additional set pieces, where it's got these like graves that are surrounded by wood. If I attack these walls with a weapon or a hammer, then they start spawning ghosts, and inside there's gems and stuff. But I can set them on fire and it won't do that, which is what we'll do when I have a torch again. But you can dig up graves with a shovel, and it costs 5 sanity every time you dig up a grave, but it drops some really useful stuff. You can find, for example, life-giving amulets, which are really good. Alright, I need to eat these before they go bad. There we go. Tip that new players usually don't know, you can chase the hands. If you chase them far enough into the darkness to their spawn point, then they despawn. It kills them. It doesn't give you any benefit, but it does stop them from trying to put out your fire. But yeah, digging out graves costs 5 sanity, generates treasures, has a chance to spawn a ghost. Ghosts are kind of annoying, but they're not that bad. You just turn and kill them. I'm a little low health for that, but, you know, it's totally worth it. Typically, you get trinkets that you can take and give the Pig King to get gold. It's a good way to generate a lot of gold early in a game, is just dig up an entire graveyard. You can also occasionally get gears out of it, and red and blue gems. So like I said, we're not going to deal with that right now. My inventory is full enough as it is. You want to come by when your inventory is pretty empty, because typically it generates a lot of different items. Oh, what time is it? And yeah, I'm going to call it good right there on this server for now, because that gets us to hour 2, and I think 2 hours is probably good for today. 13 days in, and rich, loaded. Alt tab. Stream's gonna go down for just a second and then come right back up so that I can cap this video.